Govan, when we last spoke, Colleen Makubele of COPE looked likely to be the person to become the chair of chairs, but the EFF was raising a concern. So tell us what's been happening since then.
Well, there's been a lot of movement since we last spoke, Sally, and what you're currently looking at is a speech by Ashley Sauls from the Patriotic Alliance, and this is in response to a head count that's just been done, a very dramatic one at that. And I'll try to keep my voice low because we are in council, but basically there are only 136 people in this council chamber. That equates to 50% plus one, and within that 136 it includes 2 members of the EFF and 3 members of Al Jamaa who have since left the council meeting. So that would mean that with the departure of Al Jamaa and the potential departure of the EFF, the quorum would not be reached in this council, and the DA's chief whip had just shortly before this rose to say that there is a precedent in court that in a court judgment which related to the Tshwane Council that councillors and parties should not be seen to be collapsing council, and the act of leaving council now, knowing that that would lead to the quorum not being met, could be interpreted as collapsing council. So at the moment they're talking about whether the quorum would remain intact and what the status of the meeting would be following the departure of those 3 Al Jamaa councillors and the potential departure of these last 2 EFF councillors. Should be noted that a little bit earlier, the ANC withdrew all of its candidates for positions for chairpersons of oversight committees and said that it was leaving the meeting. Immediately after that, the minority opposition bloc, that would be Al Jamaa, the AIC, the UDM, the Good Party, also said that they were registering their protest, and all of them left except Al Jamaa. And Al Jamaa has just done so after the head count revealed they only have 136 people. They would need 136 votes to pass or to elect chairpersons of oversight committees. So it looks like the multi-party coalition is in real trouble here. Not clear what's going to happen now that the Speaker has seen the Al Jamaa councillors leave, what his decision would be. Right now, the EFF is pointing out to him that the quorum is no longer being reached in this council, and therefore this meeting is no longer valid. This is what the ANC had been trying to do throughout the day to cause the collapse of this meeting by negotiating with its partners to facilitate a walkout. And you might be asking the question, how could there only be 136 councillors here if the multi-party coalition had that majority of 140? Well, within the multi-party coalition, a number of the prominent members are not in council. That includes Herman Mashaba, the leader of Action SA. When asked where he was, they said he's in a coalition meeting with other partners, but certainly conspicuously missing here. And it's a very consequential decision to leave the council while they're trying to keep that quorum intact. So it's not clear what will happen now. You'll see the debate continues, and the Speaker will probably hear from a number of parties before deciding what to do next and whether to proceed with the initial quorum that they recognized after that head count.
It looks like it's teetering on the brink. You raise an important issue about why Herman Mashaba is not there, given everyone knew this was going to be a crucial day. Could you confirm, Govan, whether Colleen Makubele of COPE was actually voted in as chair of chairs, or is that also uncertain at this time?
That is indeed the case. That's the one election that has happened. It was confirmed, the nomination, and then the vote was done through a show of hands, and Colleen Makubele from COPE was declared duly elected by Speaker Vasco da Gama. It's once he wanted to continue with that process. In fact, he called a 5-minute adjournment so everyone else could see the names of the other nominees for the positions of chairpersons of oversight committees, that we saw that brief caucus by the ANC, leading to them leaving the council chambers. On screen now, you'll see one of the councillors from the Democratic Alliance. He's just said that what's happening here is exactly what happened in Tshwane, and the walkout here is exactly what has been described in that court case that led to the High Court reinstating Randall Williams and his executive to govern Tshwane through a minority government after they were placed under administration by the Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs MEC Lebogang Maile last year. So the DA drawing parallels to that. They've already got a chair of chairs. She's from COPE, Colleen Makabela, and it's not clear whether the election of other chairpersons of oversight committees will continue today.
Thank you so much for that update. eNCA reporter Govan Whittles just reminding us of how very intractable things were in Tshwane, and one hopes it's not going the same way in Johannesburg.